It's Thursday, January 14th, and the time for your Barbados Today morning news update. One of this country's leading lawyers has revealed that the swab taken from him for COVID-19 analysis has gone missing. Queen's Counsel Barry Gale made the disclosure as he made a case for an adjournment in a land deal matter before the Caribbean Court of Justice on Wednesday. Emmanuel Joseph has the story.
Senior Counsel Barry Gale told the Caribbean Court of Justice that he was tested for the virus about a week ago, but has been a prisoner in his own home since December 31st after having self-isolated, and the wait for his results had also added to an uneasy state of mind. Gale said he is in a state of limbo and stress stemming from the anxious wait to know his status, which was compounded by the fact that his daughter and son had tested positive for the COVID-19 virus and were in isolation at the Harrison Point Center in St. Lucie.
Yesterday, I was informed by the person who conducted the test, who was attached to the Ministry of Health, that they cannot find my swabs. What does that mean? It means I have to be tested again. As I speak to you, I do not know if I have COVID. I have experienced symptoms of COVID. Thankfully not extreme, but I've had headaches, I've had feelings of tiredness, I've had a sore throat, and quite frankly, I'm anxious.
When contacted, the head of government's new COVID-19 communications unit, Ambassador Elizabeth Thompson, said she would investigate Gale's issue with a view to bringing about a speedy resolution.
We have apologized to everyone who was caught in this position, and the problem is a problem of logistics, which we are fighting to resolve by ensuring all of the necessary resources are available and capacity is increased as a matter of urgency.
Meanwhile, during Wednesday's proceedings at the CCJ, Judge Jacob Witt warned the team of Barbadian lawyers which appeared before the regional tribunal that the court will not be tolerating adjournments and late filing of documents, as is the practice in some jurisdictions.
Given the fact that it took us some time to decide this, will tell you that a decision to adjourn is not easily taken by this court. As you very well know, we are very much against all kind of adjournments. In fact, that is one of the causes. While many judicial systems are simply in a situation that they cannot handle the flow of cases anymore. We don't want to get at that point at all.
Emmanuel Joseph for Barbados Today.
Caribbean countries and those in the Americas are being told that they cannot rely on vaccinations to flatten the COVID-19 pandemic curve as long as doses remain limited. That's according to the head of the Pan American Health Organization, Dr. Carissa Etienne, who explained that the World Health Organization has only approved one vaccine to date and more are underway. The caution comes even as some countries in the region begin vaccinating healthcare workers and vulnerable groups against the virus.
With one vaccine approved for use by the World Health Organization and more underway, we're moving closer to controlling this pandemic. A handful of countries in our region have already begun vaccinating health professionals, and a few have already started protecting other particularly vulnerable populations, like the elderly and those with underlying conditions. However, as long as doses remain limited, we cannot rely on vaccinations to flatten the pandemic curve. As we look ahead to 2021, I would say that there are three priorities that are critical to controlling this pandemic in our region. The first is to ensure equitable access to the tools, both new and old, to prevent and treat COVID-19. We must ensure that health workers have the protective gear and equipment that they need to do their job safely.
Sea bathers, watercraft operators, fishermen, and all others using the sea have been asked to exercise great caution when doing so. The appeal from the Minister of Maritime Affairs and the Blue Economy, Kirk Humphrey, comes on the heels of sightings of sharks in neighboring Caribbean countries.
The Ministry of Maritime Affairs and Blue Economy wish to advise the public of Barbados that there has been recent reports of a different species of shark in different locations in Caribbean waters. While we have no such official reports in Barbados, we are still advising all seagoers, sea bathers, surfers, fishermen to be extremely careful while using the water. We're also encouraging anyone who has a vehicle on the water with an engine to make sure that it is fully functional, to make sure that the batteries are charged, to make sure that they're fully prepared in the event that something should happen. This is an exercise in being cautious. We've had no official reports of a different kind of shark, nor have we had any reports of sharks in the near shore. But for years, Barbadians have been catching sharks. Some Barbadians have been eating shark. But what we're saying is that there has been no official reports of any unusual sharks or sharks in any unusual places. But we are advising Barbadians to be extremely cautious and extremely careful at this point in time. We're also saying that if anyone sees a shark, please inform the ministry as soon as possible.
An airline partner from one of Barbados's main source markets to stop flying to Bridgetown at the end of this month. WestJet's plan came after its recent announcement of layoffs and cuts to its services, with indications that it will be removing about 30% of its capacity for February and March. A notice on the airline's website stated that service to Bridgetown would end on Sunday, January 31st and resume on Saturday, June 19th this year. WestJet had stopped flying to Barbados at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic last year, but resumed service for the winter season.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To news from the Caribbean now, St. Lucia recorded another COVID-19 related death as cases of the viral illness continue to climb. We get more from HTS News Force.
The Ministry of Health on Wednesday announced the island's sixth COVID-19 related death on a day of 12 more confirmed cases. The overall number of infections has increased by over 100 in just 4 to 5 days as the post-holiday wave continues unabated. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sharon Belmont-George, in the latest bulletin, revealed that the patient is a non-national.
One of the 12 cases is a non-national, which has been recorded as the country's sixth COVID-19 related death. The individual is a 52-year-old male, a national of the United Kingdom. He arrived in St. Lucia on December 30th, 2020 and died on January 9th, 2021. And he was not in care at the time of his passing. Condolences are extended to the family and loved ones of this individual on their recent loss.
The island has witnessed an exponential rise in COVID-19 cases from the outset of the past weekend, with double-digit increases, with the nation eclipsing the 500 mark in short order.
Today, January 13, 2021, the Ministry of Health and Wellness received confirmation of 12 new cases of COVID-19. This brings the total number of cases diagnosed in country to date to 502. 11 of the cases are St. Lucia nationals ranging in age from 1 year to 73 years.
And finally, the World Health Organization's international team is expected to arrive in the Chinese city of Wuhan on Thursday to search for the origin of the SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus, which is the source of the COVID-19 pandemic. After completing the mandatory 2 weeks quarantine, The team, led by Dr. Peter Ben Emberek, who is the WHO's Food Safety and Animal Diseases scientist, will be free to visit different places, especially the famous Wuhan market, which is at the epicenter of the first COVID-19 outbreak.
The idea is to advance a number of studies that were already designed and decided upon some months ago to get us better understanding of what happened last year in December. And that will be looking at in more detail at the initial cases, the human cases that were detected in December 19, looking at the markets, the famous Wuhan market, and see what happened there, trying to find out everything that went in and out of that market in the weeks ahead. We have already started working closely with our Chinese counterparts, and they come not only from the Chinese CDC, but also from the different ministries and research centers involved, coming from animal health, from agriculture, from wildlife, and so on, from the market surveillance agencies. So a wide range of Chinese agencies are also involved.
That's news. But for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.